So, if you lose your love for God, you will not be able to survive persecution. And if you don't survive persecution, we will find you in a lot of compromise. The next church after Pergamos is Thyatira, the one that Jesus wrote the longest letter. And what was the church in Thyatira? The corrupted church. Let me show you Thyatira. Revelation 2:20. Okay, good. And to the angel of the church in Thyatira, right? This thing says the Son of God, who has eyes like a flame of fire and his feet like what? Are you still here? 19. I know your works. Look at them. Love, service, faith, and your patience. As for your works, the last are more than the first. When you see this, you say, what a church. Nevertheless, I have a few things against you because you do what? Allow that woman who? Jezebel. Who calls herself a prophetess to do what? Teach and seduce my servants to commit sexual immorality and eat things. So even though there was love, go back to 19, there was faith, there was service, and there was patience, another system had begun to grow. So you are seeing love, you are seeing faith, you are seeing service, you are seeing patience, you are seeing good works, but there's a system that has been legitimized. Nobody is fighting it. You are not here now. They are looking at it, they are embracing it. He says, you have allowed. And what does Jezebel bring? She brings her own doctrine. She teaches. What does she bring? She brings seduction. What does she bring? Immorality and idolatry. He says you have allowed. So something that you should never have allowed, you have given it a platform. That's what Jesus was saying. Even with your love, your faith, your service, your patience. How did this system grow within your ranks? She calls herself a prophetess. So she began to teach. Holy Spirit, help me. There's the doctrine of Jezebel. There is the seduction of Jezebel. She was not only teaching, she was seducing servants to commit sexual immorality and eat things sacrificed to idols. Once the doctrine of Jezebel enters, idolatry can easily be spotted. Mammon has become a god that is worshipped in this generation. Mammon. Now, somebody might innocently say something like, a poor church cannot threaten Satan. Now, that thing, you can stand and say, it's not a bad thing, no. A poor church cannot threaten Satan. Poor church. One of the churches that God celebrated in these letters to the church was the church that he said, you are poor, but yet you are rich. Go and read Paul's letters. The church that sacrificed the most, the Macedonian churches, were poor churches. But they were poor and they were sending relief to their brothers in Jerusalem. The thing you need to think is that, what do you mean by threatening Satan? That's where you need to think about it. Because there are people who are doing major meetings. You go to Lagos, there are conferences. You go to places, there are crusades. All over the world, meetings here and there. You see, brethren, they might be doing so much publicly, and yet there are people who are invisible that are doing more for God. You may not like me, but it's the truth. I've been to the north. I've seen people laboring for Jesus. The church in the south is a joke. I'm telling you, it's a joke. Can this church withstand persecution? Can we withstand it? Let them enter a church in the south on Sunday morning and kill people. Many of you won't come to church the next week. Go to the north, you are seeing the roof burnt. You are seeing people who their husbands were killed, butchered. Their babies, cutlass was put on their baby's head. They still came to service on Sunday. Pregnant women, their babies were harvested from their belly. People still came to church on Sunday to give God glory. You go to that kind of church and you now preach, God is going to give you breakthrough next week. They will stone you. Jesus was saying, you seem to be doing good, but how did this false system mature to such a way that her doctrine had begun to invade? And then men were falling to her seduction. Immorality began to grow. And every time you find physical immorality, you will always find spiritual immorality. Because spiritual immorality is idolatry. Mammon is an idol. Words like influence have become an idol. Words like results have become an idol. What do you call result? You say, I have result, so you cannot challenge me. What are you calling result, Oga? What is result?